Hey everybody, the GameSpot's live show continues here at E3 2014 up on the Samsung stage. I'm Shaun McInnes and I'm joined by Saxs, who's here to tell us a little bit about Project Spark. It's good to see you again.
Shaun?
All right, so Project Spark is a game that's been available for a little while now, but you guys are kind of continually working on it, right? Because it is that kind of game where you're continually adding features and it's growing more and more as time goes on, right?
Yeah, we've been out in beta for about 3 months now on Xbox One and Windows 8.1. And we've had like an unbelievable outpouring of creativity. We have over 1 million creators now, which is way more than we could have ever hoped for at this stage. Like we were trying to hide the beta a little bit, make sure our servers held up, that sort of thing.
Right.
But we've had people have been seeking us out like on Xbox like no tomorrow. We have about 700 new games on average shared every day, and people spend like majority of the time making stuff. Like 75% of the time, people spend in creation and 25% in playing, and the playing includes testing their own games. It just shows like our early beta adopters that really want to create. And that's fantastic. That's what we were hoping for,
right?
Frankly,
yeah.
You never know. Like it's a little frightening to make a game where you don't make the game, you make the thing to make the game.
Right.
Right. And that's really what Spark is. It's a game about making games.
Yeah, let's pull back for a second there and talk about the game in broader terms. What did you guys originally set out to do with Project Spark? What is the tool set that you're giving people?
Well, I've been making games for about 20 years, and I always thought like the feeling I get when I make something is incomparable. Like it's what makes me come back to work every day, and what makes me just drive harder and harder at this particular piece of entertainment is just so amazing because you get to entertain people. Like there's not a lot of things where you get to entertain people. So we said, what if we can give that power to the users? Right? People love games. They spend like so much time playing games. Like 97% of kids over age 3 play games, and people don't stop playing games. Like we're sort of way past the kids, like games are for kids.
Right.
Like now it's like there really is no way. I'm over 40. I still play games. I'm pretty sure I'm not that weird. So giving people like something where they can actually make their own games was just a huge goal of ours.
And so let's talk about the tool set that's in there, because the ability to make games can go in a lot of different ways. You can go real deep down certain avenues. What sort of approach have you taken in terms of like the amount of just the amount of tools that you give people?
So we try to say you need to be able to make real games, right? So they need to be deep enough people can make the game they always dreamt about making, right? So it set the bar for if we can make pretty much every genre, then we still have work to do. On the flip side, we try to give people some onboarding onto the tools and try to help them as much as we can. So we try to introduce a swath of things. You can go as deep as you want, or you can stay as high level as you want. It's basically like choose your own adventure on one side of it, play somebody else's game and remix it, or just go from scratch and just make your own stuff, right?
All right, I believe we had a little bit of footage going there a second ago.
So the things we're showing here, like we showed at last E3, that's when we announced, and what we're bringing to the show is multiplayer, which is what we're seeing there. Like, good timing. So multiplayer for us, like we knew we needed to get there, but it was a very complicated thing. Like we're basically making a multiplayer version of Photoshop and Maya and your favorite game engine, right, all at the same time, where you can freeform and make creations. Here we see somebody else is painting and making the forest while somebody else is sculpting, somebody else is painting, and I can be making the terrain while you're painting right on top of me, or somebody's putting down props right on top of that.
Yeah.
And it's like half trolling, half collaboration. Here's what we know now. It's way faster to destroy than it is to create.
Right.
That's the multiplayer is just a core of what we wanted to achieve. The second thing that we're bringing is different themes. Like we're trying to expand on. We showed like a sci-fi. We showed a fantasy inspired set last year, like storybook fantasy. And this year we're bringing sci-fi also to expand what people think about Spark. But it's important, right, that you want to inspire people to make the game they always wanted, and not everybody wants to work with goblins and trolls. So we have like these Codians, we have these sci-fi, like these really cool building sets. We've shown in the trailer that we're going to have these massive freighters. Like it's sort of any scale, anything you want to do with sci-fi, we're gonna start showing you.
All right. Now, one of the funniest things I remember about Project Spark was we met back in February or March or so during the height of the Flappy Bird phenomenon.
Yeah.
And you actually showed me somebody had made a Flappy Bird game in Project Spark, which was kind of mind-blowing how quickly they turned that around.
I think we're proud that we had Flappy Bird clones just as fast as Android and iOS.
Yes, yeah.
So that's a good thing about having a publishing platform where anybody can publish onto. We saw the first version of Flappy Bird almost instantly. But what I really liked was, like, in compared when I went and checked out on the other platforms, like what did people do with Flappy Bird on iOS versus what they do for us? A lot of it got really, really creative really fast and used some of the unique things about Spark. And didn't just do like a flat-out recreation of Flappy Bird, and people just went off, right, and just made like parodies and completely different added abilities to them. Some of them made them like just impossible Flappy Bird. Some of them made them super, super easy. Some of them made cheats, like, you know what I mean? Like there was just a million different variations. And then whenever we see people get inspired by anything, that's what we see. We put out a call out of Twitter just for the fun of it during Super Bowl, where somebody made we didn't have the money for this ad, so here we're going to show you the storyboards for the ad we didn't have money for. So we said, wonder if somebody could make this for us.
Right.
And in a couple of days later, somebody made the entire realized version of that storyboard, like of the entire ad that the people didn't have money to do during the Super Bowl, right?
That's pretty
That's
amazing.
just fun. Yeah.
So what do you think what have been the most surprising creations for you? What is something that's just totally blown your mind?
I think the depth of some of it. So think of it this way, like we're 3 months in.
Yeah.
We've taken 3 years to make Spark to what it is today. And in 3 months, like we are seeing people coming out with what they term their alphas. I just looked at a turn-based strategy game that is inspired by the sort of the Final Fantasy VII era of deep RPGs, with like a great beginning to a story, like a fully realized combat system, like including all upgrades, leveling, like buffs, potions, like all the things you would want in a real-time strategy game in 3 months. That just seems inconceivable, right? If somebody asked me to do something in 3 months, like I would ask for a team of 50, right?
Right.
Like, but our community has just done unbelievable stuff. The other thing is, people tell, like every genre, like some of the, like I'm particularly fond of adventure games from the like late 80s, early 90s, of the sort of the point-and-click style adventure where you go and you tell a story and you get a mission, you go here and you go there. Sort of the Tim Schafer style of adventure games. We've seen some super funny, really well-realized, pretty adventure games already appear, right? And I would say this is people scratching the surface because they've only had 3 months. That's a scary bit.
Do you find that there's much of a discrepancy between like modern kind of like action-heavy games versus people trying to like relive games of their past and go down those nostalgia trips?
Yeah, I think the $60 amazingly polished Ubisoft style experiences, you know, like they're well served already. Like there are lots of other genres that are not particularly well served on consoles. Adventure game is a key one, right? And deep RPGs, like of sort of the great Square Enix style, and like Secret of Mana, like that style. There's not a lot of that today on consoles, and I think that's the style that people beset on very fast. But I think it's going to expand. Like sci-fi, we're shipping a first-person camera that is a lot more polished than the first one we put out in the early beta, just to see how people react to it. That has a lot of the sort of the modern functionality of what you want in a first-person shooter, just to see how much does that appeal to people. Because it's one of the genres we have seen very, very few games has been first-person shooting, and there's 2 reasons for that, maybe. One is people don't care, and they just have plenty of first-person shooters already.
Sure.
Or it's just that we haven't given them quite enough tools to go and realize that.
And clearly you guys have amazing beard technology as well.
So it's funny, we call it beard technology because the beards auto-hide when you put a helmet on people. Like one of the stuff we try to do is to make it easy for people. So when we put like a sci-fi helmet on and there's no room for the beard, we auto-hide it. When you tint your hair, the beard tints with it. Like all the beards work on different head shapes. Like beard technology is not an easy thing to accomplish.
I know. Beards are difficult, man. They're tricky. They have a mind of their own.
So you're running so this is the call it a marketing trailer. Sort of the thing that people have never seen Spark before. That is sort of a great way to introduce them into what is Spark all about. What what we love about that trailer is it's about two people creating together and finding their vision together.
Yeah.
Sort of both showing off and competing and doing stuff like together. That's very much what we hope to inspire people to do, is to get together and go, hey, I'm pretty good at making behaviors. I know you can make something that's really pretty. And you look like a good designer. Do you want to be the guy that figures out how to lay out the level? And you get together in these multiplayer sessions and just sort of lay it out, right?
How challenging was it for you guys creating the technology that allows two people to create simultaneously? Because I'm sure there's a lot of factors that need to be adjusted on the fly to make sure that these things are in sync.
Yeah, we try to set like a realistic bar for like what would people actually want to do. So our first thought was that we would lock out an area, and if I was working in the southeast corner, nobody else could be close to me.
Yeah.
And it just didn't. It wasn't going to work. So we said, actually, what we want is that everybody can do everything at the same time, right on top of each other. So right now, our demo here is that I go in and I raise the terrain onto the guy standing there. At the same time, somebody's painting it as fast as they can as the terrain is shooting up, and the third guy is just putting down trees on top of it as it's growing. That's the bar. Like everything needs to come right in there. So it's certainly not an easy task. But we use Azure, so like the Microsoft Cloud and Xbox Live to help with keeping track of all this stuff. Like at the show floor, we're one of the only high-wire acts that actually use like full multiplayer, going to Azure. There's no cheating.
That's tough with the internet connection here at the LACC.
This is the first time we're testing it, and it's nerve-wracking, but it's working out.
Right.
I think we really wanted people to see what it was going to be like, because in the office we are giddy. Like, this is what we do. We sit down on my desk. I have two machines that are always up, and people sit down, and we immediately do the same thing every time. Somebody starts sculpting, the other guy starts painting, and the third guy starts trolling.
I think that I'm the third guy.
That's like, it takes skill to troll well.
Right, of course. Yeah. It's a talent. It's a talent that I've honed over a long career of trolling.
Yes.
So where are you guys at right now with development, and where do you guys want to be? What features are you planning to add? Where are you guys headed?
So we will release fully this fall, so 1.0, and take the beta tag off this fall. What's gating that is multiplayer needs to get stable, and this is a big step for us is to get here. We're showing 2-player here. We need 4-player. Is our goal is 4-player multiplayer, and pretty stable. And then we need sci-fi to be ready to release, so our second theme. And then we need to squash about 3,500 bugs. So that's the next thing, right?
Okay. I can see how that would take a little bit of time.
Well, the fun thing about beta is that it's getting a good workout every day. We have a great community that is very passionate about like this is what I would do better. This is what I would do different. Like, why you guys need to consider this, and this. And we're still taking all that in. And so when I say 3,500 bugs, it's both bugs, features, additions, whatever it is, right? But we sort of set a bar. It's going, this is what we think. This is where we want to go out. We want to go out with like a reasonably bug-tested, which is very difficult, with big title. And we want to have multiplayer. Like, that's a big deal. Once we're ready. It'll come out on Xbox One and Windows 8.1. Then we'll see what goes from there.
All right, Saxs, well, I wish you the best of luck with all 3,500 items on that list.
Well, you can come help us if you want to.
Sure, maybe. Probably I'll just end up trolling you.
Well,
but, I'm sure that helps in some small way.
Yes.
All right, well, thanks again for dropping by the Samsung stage here at the GameSpot live booth at E3 2014. We're going to cut to a quick break and be back with even more. Stay tuned.